This is ACIM Lesson 46. The lesson is, God is the love in which I forgive. Welcome to the Explainer. Today we're taking this incredibly profound text from A Course in Miracles and exploring exactly how it translates into practical everyday peace. If you've ever struggled with holding a grudge, feeling resentment, or just dealing with those daily irritations that completely sap your energy, this lesson offers a fundamental shift in how your mind operates. We're going to break down the philosophy behind it, and more importantly, we'll walk through the exact step-by-step exercises the text provides so you can immediately apply it to your life today. I really want you to anchor your mind right here on this central mantra. God is the love in which I forgive. This single, powerful thought is going to guide our entire breakdown today. Literally everything we look at, the philosophy, the mental exercises, the specific phrases you'll use, it all orbits around this one core idea. It's basically a statement of fact within the framework of the text, reminding us that forgiveness isn't something we have to somehow manufacture out of our own limited human willpower. Instead, it flows from a much, much deeper source of love. Okay, let's dive into section 1. Why do we forgive? Let's take a look at the philosophy of why forgiveness is even necessary in this world. To really grasp this lesson, we have to understand the fundamental mechanics of forgiveness as the text presents it. And the opening paragraph gives us a massive paradigm shift. It states, God does not forgive because he has never condemned. Just let that sink in for a second. In this framework, condemnation must exist before forgiveness is even necessary. Because God's love is absolute and unwavering, there's absolutely no condemnation, and therefore, God doesn't actually need to forgive. So if God doesn't forgive, why do we need to? Well, the text tells us that forgiveness is the great need of this world, and the reason we need it so badly is because of one specific concept: illusions. According to the text, this world is a world of illusions. When we hold grievances, when we're angry, when we condemn someone, we are actually binding ourselves to these illusions. We're basically trapping ourselves in a false reality of separation and pain. So forgiveness isn't about letting someone off the hook for doing something terrible, it's the specific tool we use to wake ourselves up. Those who withhold forgiveness are quite literally tying themselves to a state of suffering, but those who forgive are actively releasing themselves from these illusions. And this brilliantly illustrates the core choice we're making every single day. Look at this contrast straight from the text. On one side, we have fear. Fear condemns, and by condemning, it produces those illusions we just talked about. It keeps us trapped, right? On the other side, we have love. Although God doesn't need to forgive, his love is nevertheless the basis of forgiveness. Love forgives, and in doing so, it completely undoes what fear has produced. It sweeps away the illusions and returns the mind to the awareness of God. This is exactly why the text says forgiveness can truly be called salvation. It is the literal mechanism by which our illusions disappear. Moving right along to section 2, the practice. Let's shift gears from the philosophy and look at the mindful guide for today's longer exercises.
Philosophy is great and all, but A Course in Miracles is essentially a mind training program. It requires actual application. So here are the steps for the first phase of your practice today. First, you'll close your eyes and repeat the main idea to yourself. Then, spend a minute or two actively searching your mind for people you have not forgiven. The text offers a very safe, practical rule here. Anyone you do not like is a suitable subject. And this is absolutely crucial. It does not matter how much you haven't forgiven them. Don't fall into the trap of thinking a minor annoyance isn't worth your time. In this framework, you have either forgiven them entirely or not at all. So pull up every single name that brings even a twinge of resentment or dislike.
Once you have those people in your mind, you're going to apply this specific phrase directly to each one of them. You will mention them by name and say, silently or out loud, God is the love in which I forgive you, name. Picture them in your mind's eye as you say it. You are actively extending that foundation of love we discussed earlier to undo the fear and the illusions that have clouded your relationship with this specific person. Which brings us to section 3, forgiving yourself. This is the ultimate purpose of what we're doing today. Here is where the lesson takes a really fascinating turn. You might think this whole exercise is just about clearing the air with other people, but focusing on others actually acts as a mirror for our own internal state of peace. All of this outward forgiveness is actually building towards something deeply internal. So I have a question for you. Looking at what we've covered so far, what is the ultimate purpose of this first phase of practice? Why are we digging up all these names of people we don't like and applying this specific thought to them?
The true purpose of forgiving all those other people is to put you in the best possible position to say this: God is the love in which I forgive myself.
The core revelation from the text here is that as you condemn only yourself, you forgive only yourself. The external world is just a mirror. When you hold a grievance against someone else, you are actually condemning yourself to a world of illusions. Once you've cleared the deck by applying the lesson to everyone who came to mind, you turn that powerful light inward. You forgive yourself. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is how the text encourages us to play with the concepts while keeping that central idea front and center. After you forgive yourself, you devote the rest of your 5-minute practice to exploring these related ideas. The form of the application can vary considerably. You might say, God is the love with which I love myself. Or maybe, I have already been forgiven. Notice how these statements are entirely focused on releasing guilt, removing fear, and completely abandoning the need to attack. It's all about soaking your mind in the reality of love until the illusion of fear simply dissolves. Just remember, the text asks you to end the practice period by repeating today's original idea one more time.
All right, Section 4, Daily Maintenance. Let's look at how to maintain this mindset throughout the day with shorter applications. Doing a few 5-minute deep dives is fantastic, but life happens, right? Someone cuts you off in traffic, you get a frustrating email, or an old memory pops up and totally ruins your mood. For these shorter applications, the text provides a quick, powerful reset button. Anytime you become aware of any kind of negative reaction to anyone, and this is key, whether they are physically present with you or just living rent-free in your head, you are instructed to tell them silently, God is the love in which I forgive you. It's an immediate intervention. You don't let the illusion take root. The absolute moment you feel the condemnation, you apply the remedy. Let's move to Section 5, Final Review and Summary, and see how this all builds into a daily commitment. To really get the benefit of Lesson 46, we need to be clear on the practical commitment. It's not just a nice thought. It's a specific mental workout. Here is your exact practice schedule breakdown, drawn right from the text. For your deep practice, you need to do this at least 3 times today, dedicating 5 full minutes to each session. That's where you close your eyes, search your mind, forgive others by name, and then forgive yourself using those related ideas. Then, for the shorter applications, you want to do these as many times as possible. Keep the idea front of mind and hit that mental reset button with a brief, silent repetition the exact second a negative reaction occurs. To close out, let's look one more time at our guiding thought. God is the love in which I forgive. By practicing this today, you are actively choosing to release yourself from fear and return your mind to peace. So I'll leave you with this provocative question to ponder as you start your day. Who is sitting in your mind right now entirely unforgiven that you're finally ready to release so that you can be free? Think about it. Do the exercises and experience the shift. If you found this explainer helpful in breaking down today's lesson, please make sure to like and subscribe to the channel so you never miss an insight. Thanks for watching and enjoy your practice today.